Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Mandel. I have new headphones. See how this goes. Um, Stuff and things. What are we doing today? So today we are going to work on some Agones stuff. If you're not familiar with Agones, let me bring that up. Agones is the platform for running game servers on top of Kubernetes. Let's go. Let's go here. Lovely. Okay, you can start to see. There's a website for it and everything. Okay, so we're gonna do some design work today, and we're gonna do maybe some implementation work as well. We'll see how we go. But we had, where is it? This is the ticket that we're gonna look at today. And the ticket there is game servers in allocated state can respond to fleet updating. What does that mean? That is a good question. Here there is a long text. So basically the gist of it is if I'm running a game server in a fleet and I make an update to that fleet. So say I initiate a rolling update through that fleet is one good example, and we're going to some other ones. There's nothing in the existing set of game servers inside that fleet to know whether or not something is happening to that fleet. So for like a session-based game where like players are like fighting each other for maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes, this is probably less of an issue, right? Like you run a rolling update on your fleet and that's fine. And then like eventually those sessions will end up dying or shutting down essentially, and then you can move on. But in a world where, say, you have more like longer live type stuff, say like a lobby server, or maybe you're reusing that session server as well, right? Maybe you reuse it 10 times and then shut it down because that's just a better use of your resources. You probably will then be like, oh, there's a new version of this game server we want you to run. So we want you to shut down early. Basically, we want to be like, hey, there's a new version. Finish up, like gracefully shut down all the things you're doing, and then self shut down and say like, hey, die. So there's nothing that does that right now, and I think it's a pretty reasonable request. So we've been chatting about this a bunch, sort of internally. It's an interesting problem. Around like what can we do to respond when a fleet doesn't update. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a design doc. Here's one I prepared earlier. We might give it a better name than this. This is a format I actually really like a lot. Objective, requirements, background, design ideas, alternatives considered. If that needs to be bumped up in size, let's bump that up in size a little bit. Let's go to 125. That's better. And I'm going to go through each sort of one and like break it down and then sort of do some design work and see what we end up with to hopefully solve this problem, because it's a good one. I think it's a good problem. So I'm going to rewrite out this. All right. So, and sort of, in a usage of Agones image, game servers utilized for a... Are you complaining? British English, please. Thank you. Important. For a long time, such as a lobby server or potentially a session-based game that is being used multiple times in a row. A session-based game server, maybe that's better. Lobby game server in a row. It would be useful if that game server process could be notified in some way if and when a fleet has been updated. So it could actively do a graceful shutdown and release its resources. seems pretty reasonable. Now, I've said something deliberately ambiguous there. Now, also, do I have? Oh, I don't. That's silly extensions. Have that one. Get add-ons. There's a code. Code blocks. Oh, what is it? What is it I use? Is it Codify? What do I use? I use this as a different one. There's actually a really nice. Where is it? Let me find the extension while I'm here. Maybe it is Codify. Takes all that down. Seems reasonable. Just have like a. Sorry, I write all this stuff. So syntax shiny, style bad, style good. That seems reasonable. Yeah, that's fine. View the managed documents, the application install. Yes, that seems reasonable. Cool. Done. Lovely. So I can now. How do I want my Codify. Let me refresh, maybe that's easier. Apply style. That work? Yeah, lovely. Okay. Where was I? Sweet. So, I was deliberately vague in one section. Our section here is if and when a fleet has been updated. But what does an update actually mean? Notice that when a fleet has been updated, such that games. Oh, that's a good point. Such that an allocated game server may want to actively perform. These are utilized for such as game servers utilized for which allocated. So this is a good point too. Okay, so it's the allocated game servers that are utilized for a long time, because the ready ones we don't care about. That's like normal. Like in a Agones environment, if you have ready game servers and you like do a rolling update, the ready ones will go away, so that's not a big deal. The usage of Agones, which allocated game servers are utilized for a long time, such as Lobby's game server, or potentially session-based game servers are used multiple times in a row. It'd be useful if that game server request could be notified in some days if and when a fleet has been updated, such that allocated servers may want to actively perform a graceful shutdown and release its resources, such that it can be replaced by a new version. There's interestingly two scenarios. There are now objective versus requirements. All right, I'll come back to that. And I want to come back to that because I think there are two scenarios in which it's like this is more like game server notification on fleet update or allocated, something like that. Anyway, not that that's actually that important anyway. Okay, so there are two scenarios. I think there are two scenarios of which to consider. Game servers, the fleet has been updated and allocated game servers. Okay. That may cause this to occur. That consider in which we might want to notify think this through for a sec. A game server fleet has been updated. Actually, I might want to restructure this. Okay. Objective, that's pretty much the objective, right? Requirements, which to consider, that will need to have a solution. Okay, so I think that's better. That's better. There we go. All right, cool. Because we want to look at the requirements here, and basically be saying, okay, like, what do we have to do? So there are really two scenarios. One, what is that? Let's go for heading 2. Fleet rolling update. Canary deploy through multiple fleets. Okay. So I think there's two scenarios here. I think that's just important. I just want to kind of think about these out loud about how they're going to work, so that we can come up with the scenarios. Because chatting with our other committers, Robbie, who you would have seen on the repository, and we started talking about how there's a couple of interesting things here. So number one, fleet rolling update. Right, I have a fleet. Maybe they're all lobby game servers, and I've got a new version, and I update my fleet in place. In that case, we want to be able to be like, hey, tell each game server that a rolling update has occurred, or something occurred, right? And that actually, yeah, and that it happened. But I want a scale down below allocated count, because there's that scenario. Then there's also, if I had a fleet with like 5 game servers in it, and 3 of them are allocated, and I scale it down to 2, we should tell at least one of those game servers, hey, just letting you know, like, you're under the limit now. You might want to shut down early because we're trying to get rid of some stuff. And I think actually, but that is basically the same as canary through multiple fleets, and so I'm going to actually just roll that up into here. I think that's better. Okay, I think that's better. So this is a standard fleet rolling update. Do we have docs on that? Let's see what we got. Fleet updates. Boof. Here we go. Rolling update strategy. Perfect. Actually, we have docs on both of it. Perfect. That's actually brilliant. Fleet rolling update. Therefore, when a rolling update starts, any allocated game servers, should have the option. There should be an ability to notify. There should be an ability to notify any allocated game servers within that fleet. Type today that a rolling update has begun. I don't think we need to care about when it's finished. So let's say out of scope, notifying game servers when a rolling update has finished. Yeah, that's fair. We only care about when it's begun. I think that's pretty reasonable. Okay. Then a fleet rolling update. Therefore, when a rolling update starts, there should be ability to notify any game servers in a fleet that a rolling update has begun. if the user is updating a fleet through a, what did we call it? We call it a 2 or more fleet strategy. It's here. To canary, a new version. Do I know what I mean by canary? Like basically I'm just saying like you're testing it out until that's what I'm looking for. You're testing it out until you know that it works. So like you can gradually roll stuff out. You're like, I might do 10%, see if it's okay. If that's okay, then I might do 15, then I might do 30, then I might do 50, and then I'm like, okay, that's good. There is no rolling update, but instead the first original current fleet is scaled down while the replacement is manually scaled up. The only, in this scenario, the only indication that the fleet is being replaced is that the fleet replica count could drop below the number of allocated game servers. So my thinking here, and this is sort of what we were talking about with this kind of situation. So if a fleet starts to drop, like say we have 3 game servers, and say we have 3 game servers, and they're all allocated, and I set a fleet to say like 1, just like a replica of 1. 2 of these game servers should end up getting some kind of notification. We'll talk about how that gets notified later on. Notification that that the shutdown has occurred. So to explain this further, let's just write it down. As an example, if a fleet has 3 allocated, still works, game servers. I don't know why I put allocated in like things. And the fleet's replica count is modified to be 1. 2 of the remaining 2 of the allocated game servers. Following pact, I'll do that later, should be notified as, okay, that, actually, here we go, yeah, should be notified that they may wish to gracefully shut down. But as an interesting point here, if in the scenario of the indication the fleet is being replaced, the fleet replica could drop below the number of allocated game servers. The correct number to drop should be to notify would equal, let's see if I can do the math, allocated, so total allocated game servers minus fleet replica count. Notification number. One thing that's kind of fun about this, though, is that we want to. It is worth noting that the game servers notify will need to follow the what do we call it? Bear with me 1 second. Reference fleets. We call it the scheduling. Scheduling setting of the fleet to maintain the appropriate optimization of resources. So basically what I'm saying there is I'm saying that if you have, say you have 3 game servers and 2 is on one node and 1's on another, and they're all allocated, and you go, I want to scale down to one or 2. 2 is probably actually a better example. You want to scale down to 2, so you got 3, 2 on one node, 1 on another, and you want to scale down to 2, then you would want to be like, notify the one that's on the single node that's got room, like we want to delete that one if we're in a packed environment, so that we can get rid of that entire node, and can work accordingly. This has kind of got some tricky and fun stuff in it. In this scenario, constraints for the game server notified. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Oh my gosh. And it's actually, this is kind of a tricky problem. It's kind of fun though. All right. What am I supposed to put in background again? Just having a look. Ooh, we might need to take a short break. In that, the new release is up, so let's actually take care of that. Let's take care of that. I just saw a notification pop up that there's a pull request for the release today, so I should jump on that. Have a quick look. There is a conflict. That seems weird. You did a bug. Need to resolve the conflict. That all looks good, but the conflict is an issue. Okay. Why would you have a conflict? That's really kind of weird. Let's have a quick look since we're in here. Boof. Oh, you're not up to date. Yeah, you didn't. Yeah. Here. Unfortunately, looks like your branch is not up to date with the latest changes in main. Bam. Alright, we'll let that run in the background. I'm sure we'll come back to it. Let them take care of that, and then we'll go back to the problem we have at hand. All right, where are we? Background. I don't know how much. Yeah, we the, where is it? Fleet updates. Oh, actually, that was good. Fleet updates. Here we go. Current background, I think, really is pretty much fleet updates. Anything else that's a good background for anyone else? There's probably some conversations on Slack that I could pull up. That's probably it. I think that's really it. I don't actually think there's anything here. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So now we get to do some design. This is the fun bit. Okay, cool. Cool. Now we get to do some fun stuff. Let me take a drink. So, all right. So here's my prevailing idea on how this works. How do I want to write this? So there are some actually some requirements. All right, there. This solution must also be backward compatible. Just to go without saying. Ideally, if not utilized, this solution should not put any extra load on the Kubernetes control plane. If that is something else we like, right? Every time we touch an object, it does put a load on the extra other notes. Cool. Okay. All right, I think that's reasonable. All right. I'd like to also ideally solution should be extensible if other notification strategies become required down the road over time. Something like that. Okay, I think that seems pretty good. Let's see what's going on here. Alrighty. So, design ideas. I do have some ideas. I'm gonna start with YAML files. I have an idea. Okay, so let me talk through the idea. Actually, that's probably a good way of doing this because it's trying to get this idea out of my head and onto paper. So my idea here is this. I want the end user. So in either of the scenarios above that we've talked about, right? I want the end user to be able to apply either a label or set of labels. Actually, I don't care. A label or an annotation to a game server that is currently in allocated state, so that when either of these scenarios occur, and I think we should also be able to control them separately. The reason, and I want it to be a user supplied label, and I want the user, if the user doesn't put it there, so basically I have a section in the fleet spec to specify like, hey, this is the thing I want you to do, and this is how I want you to do it. Because then the end user could ignore it completely, and nothing changes, nothing happens, and they can also choose exactly what annotation they want. Like I don't care about any of it, and they can make a decision from there. The other solution, we'll go into alternatives considered, but the alternative that I have in my head as well is we could actually set the pod to terminate, and lean on like whatever it's called, graceful termination thingamabobber, basically, which gives something a time to gracefully terminate over a certain period of time. We could force that, but I feel like that requires a bit more work. And this also allows you to do some really neat stuff, like on fleet roll down, we're going to switch out this label so that it can't be allocated to anymore. It both gets the notification, hey, this thing, like, don't do it anymore, but also also don't allocate to it. Now, actually, graceful shutdown would probably do the same thing, because as you delete it, then then if you delete it, then What's the word I'm looking for? If you delete it, then it will get removed from the allocated pool because it's in a deleted state. We'll have a deletion timestamp attached to it. So that actually could work too. I think my biggest issue is that then you have to basically actively handle the graceful termination. And that graceful termination could come from, say, a node being shut down or something like that. Could be for a very different reason. Like that termination, that sig kill termination key, you don't have any indication of why it's happening, so there's no meta information there. I think actually that's my biggest objection. I think we might end up doing it at some point for somebody if somebody really wants it, so we want to consider it. But I think for the initial design, I think it's a bad idea. Okay, give me an example fleet spec. Let me start with that. All right, I'm gonna. Yeah, this is a good idea. This is good. Simple game server. Perfect. Give me fleet. Lovely. I can actually get rid of a lot of this too. All right, beautiful. Splat. Ugh, that's gross. You know what I'm going to do, actually? I have IntelliJ open. Let's bring up a scratch. That's going to be easier. Yeah, well, perfect. Bam. All right, so let's get rid of all the resourcing stuff because we don't care about that. I just want to throw some ideas down and see what my brain comes up with. So, spec replicas. On update is sort of what I'm... So we've got a rolling update. And we've got like a scale down. Yeah. So I don't think, see, here's the maybe the fun thing. So this is what I'm vaguely thinking. I'm thinking, yeah, let's just write this down. So I say on update, allocated. This is what I want to do to them. Labels, my key, my value, annotations, my other key. My other value. Something like that. Like that's sort of what that was actually I don't hate that. Version, nothing. Empty value, for example. Allocated on fleet update, because it might not actually. There's a good point here actually. On fleet rolling update, rolling or recreate, because yeah, fleets can be updated either way. So fleets are either going to roll through or you get a recreate strategy, which is fine. There's a rolling update. That's a fair one. Apply the following labels and or annotations on update. Okay. I actually don't mind that. I actually don't mind that. I actually quite like that. So, so here's an interesting one. I called this on update, and a replica count change could be an update to a fleet. But I'm... Do we... that's fun. Then I'm like, do we combine the two things? Are we like, if a fleet... No, I hate this idea. Oh, man, this gets fun. Now I tell you why it gets fun too. So one edge case I was thinking about, like, okay, so if you this gets fun. Okay. Brains. Oh my god, brains. So the reason this gets fun, I was just thinking about it, is that behind a fleet there's a game server set. So behind a fleet there is a game server set, and the game server set is actually the thing that has all the game servers behind it. We don't really talk about game server sets too much. If you scale down a fleet, it's just going to scale down the game server set and all goes by. If you do a rolling update though, and or you do it's really on spec update, and then on replica update is sort of sorry, I'm only under working. Something like that, like on spec. How do we do these things again? Like if I look at an Agones example, if we try and do single words, don't we? Do we have how do we do YAML with multiple words? Rolling update. Okay, we're camel. Okay, it's cool. Just checking. On spec update, on replica update. Except it's actually sod. All right, hold on. Wow, this is fun. Okay, so it's really on fleet template update, because that's what's going to force some kind of replacement strategy, right? I think. Pretty sure that's right. So on template update, and then on replica update. On fleet game server template. Labels, event, replica. Yes, we could do something like that. Ooh, I like that idea. Right, I could just do something like that, and we could also do labels because it's fun. So we can do contextual stuff here too. Something like that. All right, so I'd like to consolidate this maybe a little as well. It's a bit verbose, but I think maybe we do this. We do events. This is going to get very, very right-hand side drifty, but I think it will be template update, replica update. Or why don't we just call it updates? That's better. We'll call it template replica. That's a bit better. I think that's a bit more concise. On update or update? I could go backwards and forwards on that one. On replica count update when the allocated. This isn't very semantic, but I can't come up with a better way. Drops below replica. To previous. To allocated game servers. Yeah, I think that's right. You probably wouldn't set both, but if you did, I'm not sure what would happen, but that's a whole other thing. Do we want to say you can't have both. I think I like on update, like as an event thing. Create update. All right. Labels, yada yada yada. Cause the update event to occur. So the theory here being that if we can set annotations and labels, then we can, what's what I'm looking for? Then we can also pass metadata. We could pass all kinds of interesting information about why this is happening. There is some potential weirdness. If you took a fleet and you edited the replicas as you were editing these values for update and stuff, what happens? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I have to look at the code, I think, at that point. That gets really complicated. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. All right, cool. Well, yeah, this I don't hate. I just needed to get it out. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna copy this and bring it into here. See, there we go. Really? It doesn't. What? Now, if I just do that, does that work? There we go. Okay. Oh, that's not very. Just drag that across. We can do that. We're in a pageless environment. Anyway. Okay, that seems good. Okay, so the general idea, here we go, let's write it down. The general idea is that on either a fleet update that updates the game server template, or a fleet, God, why did I impose this on myself? Whoops. Fleet update the template, or a fleet update that causes the replica count to drop below the number of currently allocated game servers. The Agones system should apply a user-provided set of labels and or annotations to the allocated game servers. This will serve two purposes. This will serve two purposes. One, the game server SDK, watch command, watch game server command could be utilized to pick up this annotation and or label change to indicate the fleet system change, and the game server binary could react accordingly. Two, this could also be used to proactively update game server labels to influence or affect change in allocation strategy, such as removing these game servers from being allocated while they perform a graceful shutdown. It's lowercase a. The benefits of the above configuration is that if it is applied, then nothing. No extra overhead exists for the fleet. The user has to actively opt in and also provide what labels and or annotations make sense for their Agones integration with other services. Or implementation, I think is a better word. Cool. Standing questions. I like doing that. How do we feel like on update as a section? This also has the ability to be extended over time if such a thing is needed, with other notification options. On update dot replica. I don't think this is intuitive that it only fires when the allocated total allocated count is below the replica count, but I couldn't come up. Does anyone else watching have any better ideas? Let me think about this for a sec. Replica on update. Replica allocated. I think that seems pretty reasonable. Extensions, codify, playstyle. Yeah, I don't absolutely hate it. This should also be run. Should also be run behind a feature flag. I would suggest feature flag. What are we thinking? Fleet update notifications. I like that. Not that it really matters. Also be developed. Cool, 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 cool. I don't hate this. I don't hate this too much, actually. This is not bad. All right, so let's just have a quick peek around. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. This is all right. This is all right. Alternatives considered. I think let's talk here about whether or not you want to send a sig term. Is it sig term or sig kill? I can't remember. Kubernetes sig term. Terminating with grace. That's actually a good one. Best practices. Termination lifecycle. Here we go. In practice, you need to handle the sig term. It is sig term. Okay. Sig term before sending sig kill, I think is what it is. Waiting for it. Does not wait the restart hook to finish it. Kill as soon as the pod the pod is removed. Yeah, that's what I thought. Pod life cycle, I think, is actually what I want to see. Can't type sig term. Sig container restart. Termination of pods. Oh, sig. All right. Term. They say term. Okay, run the sig term. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Ooh. Ugh. Alrighty. Oh, very sore today. Okay. Rather than, or instead of, or in addition to. There we go. Updating labels. We could instead send a sig term signal, much like is done on pod shutdown. Let's go here, copy, splat. On pod shutdown. This would require the end user to utilize to actively. Where's what I want? Default grace period, grace period, grace period, grace. What's it called? Grace. Yeah, termination grace period seconds. Here we go. Utilize termination grace period seconds to specify how long to keep the currently running game server running. The allocated. Before being shut down. That's by Kubernetes. All right. This has several advantages. If the end user is already doing this, to account for no shutdowns, there is no repetition of work. What other things? This would automatically remove the game server from the allocation pool, since it skips any game server that has a deletion timestamp. I think really that's the only other, really the two advantages I can think of. Okay, I'm gonna shut down the that all being said, if we get user feedback, to have an option of shutting down game servers that are terminating. I shouldn't say shutting down, actually. I should say deleting allocated game servers. Fleet update. We could add it. Leave up design. I'm going to sneeze. That's better. Okay. But we have the following disadvantage, but there. Binaries be forced to respond to the signal, as well as implement a configuration. Otherwise, they would be shut down with labels and annotations. They can be safely ignored. I had another thought with this too. What was it? I totally had a thought. We were talking about it earlier. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the recording. If with the sig kill. Oh yeah. There is with sig term. There is no indication of why the game server is being asked to gracefully shut down. Really can't type today. Whereas with a label or annotation, the end user can pass along whatever information they wish. Yeah, that does. That's an interesting question. Okay, so let me think this through. Could I, if I'm a user, I have a fleet, I have no update strategy written on it, right? Like I have no on update value. And then I update my fleet. And when I do that, I also update my on update. That would kick off. I would be like, cool, I see the event. I see they're different. I'm going to make a change. I put it into the queue. I do the thing. I'm going to look at the latest version of the fleet. So I'm going to take that implementation of what I should do in this section. And therefore, I could actually pass information to the game servers that are still allocated based on my current update, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah, that is actually kind of really cool now I think about it. God, I really can't type today. Yeah. Beautiful. Actually, I actually really like that. I'm just gonna edit this. be that. Yeah, do I want to mess with this person's thing? Nah, you know what? I'll leave it alone. I don't want to mess with it. So I wrote a super interesting problem. We were discussing this a bit internally. We came up with some other scenarios, user journeys. Would love your and anyone else's. Cool. Grab that. We'll grab this and all that. I don't know why there's a line there. I do love any sort of design doc or thing like that that does have an alternatives considered section. That just seems like a really good thing to have to any kind of design doc. So often I feel like we look at that stuff and we go, you know, why? Yeah, you're complaining about my headers. I don't really care. Do I want to demote headings? I don't know. Let's have a look first. No, that looks good. All right. Fleet rolling update. Continue to deploy runway fleets. It's considered. This looks good. All right. Bam. Let's do it. That gets that sort of there. All right, cool. I'm just going to throw a label of design on here as well. Both. Because that matters. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I might also drop this in Slack. Have I got Slack open here? Yeah, I do. Copy link. I'm just going to do this while I'm sitting here. Thanks for your patience. Topic that has come up a few times in Slack. Love to get your feedback on the proposed design. Alright, so that's dropped in Slack too. Alright, we have a pull request that came through recently, so let's take care of that as well. They closed their pull request because reasons. That is all totally fine. Cool. All right. Okay, just making sure nothing special is happening in a few places. Beautiful. All right. We are now going to do some other work. Beautiful. All right. Anything I need to review right now? Let's just have a quick look at some of these PRs, since I'm here actually. Let's just this failed. Why did it fail? Let's have a look. SDK conformance. SDK conformance has been really weird lately. And I'm trying to work out why. Look, it's just a really big test. And sometimes it's a real nightmare to find where things failed. I think star is what I want. Yes, here we go. Build Agones SDK binary. That's weird. Yeah, looks like I should probably actually look at the tests, but files changed. Let's have a look. That's all fine. That's all fine. Boom, boom. Oh, that's a clever way of doing it. Just change that to something that they can use. I like that. That's a. You know what? That's legit. I like it. So the fun thing is, once we're testing a change on like oh, actually, let me double check. Bear with me 1 second. We were testing a change in the fleet autoscaler. Actually, I've got this here because I'm going to do it here. And I am on main. I assume I have the latest. I do. Beautiful. All right. So test. Sorry, my bad. Test end to end. Fleet autoscaler test. Okay, so like say we were doing a fleet autoscaler test, and we're changing the validation. We're testing to make sure the validation was working the way we wanted to. Now, if I create a fleet, I create a default fleet with game server spec comes from here. They've changed it to add in the thing that should be broken. Beautiful. Yeah, I think that's actually nice. Clever way to force testing that the solution works. Will approve once release is done. Looks like the tests were failing due to a weird flake in SDK conformance. Oh yeah, it's picking that up. Beautiful. Let me hit that button again, actually. Now, can I force it to restart? Do I have that? I don't have that yet. I don't have that ability. Okay. That's all right. Yeah, we're good. We can kick that forward. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else that needs to be updated. Sort recently updated. That was mine. That was 5 days ago. Okay, I'm pretty sure I already reviewed that. Beautiful. Okay. Sorry. What's next? Oh, yes. There's an issue I wanted to jump on. Let's have a look at some code. Fleet-specific Prometheus metrics should stop being exported. Yes, this has been on my list for a while. All right. This is Prometheus stuff. This is like fun and also like what the hell. Okay. Sure, no one's trying to get my attention, but I'm pretty sure they're not. Okay, good. Basically, we have a bunch of metrics for a bunch of things, like for fleets is the classic example. And if you delete the fleet, then the metric doesn't go away because that's just how like Prometheus works and stuff. So I had a PR for this, yeah. I had something interesting here. Okay. I'm going to get rid of that. The idea being that if a fleet gets removed, then the metrics need to be restarted so that what's going on, because Open Census doesn't provide a way to remove part of a gorge metric. You can only reset the entire thing back to 0 state and rebuild. That means we have 2 fleets, then providing the following metrics, right? Like, dies. Basically, we can reset. We went through a bunch of stuff. I'm going to basically do this such that as soon as, say, a fleet goes away, and we use it, anything that's got a kind of label on it, essentially, we're just going to reset all the metrics. That's the short answer. I had some proof of concept code here to do this, and I think it's going to work, so let's find out. Is I think the short answer. Just add that. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing that. Here we go. Do I have the branch? Oh, I do. All right, so I gotta remind myself what it was that I was doing, which is another fun thing. So let's first thing first, let's bring, there was a draft PR. It was weird. Yeah, so let's rebase against main. Let's bring it all up to date. There we go. That's better. Okay. I have no idea anymore what this looks like. So let's do a diff and actually see what I didn't do with this anymore, because I totally cannot remember. All right, so controller. I have a fleet lister. All right, good for me. So in the what? Okay, let's maybe okay. So I have these 2 things. I have a controller for metrics. That is probably a good place to start. Okay, that makes a certain amount of sense. Let's shrink some of this up a little bit so I can see what's going on. Come here. Where's your edge? No, thank you. Okay. So we put that there. Good for you. Replica count apparently is the one that I care about. Okay, tag keys, key fleet name. So a bunch of them actually have this key fleet name in them. All right. Register views. Now reset views. I go through. So I'm resetting all the views. I'm just like blow the whole thing away. And these are all the views with all the states. Now everything. Ow. My brain hurts. All right. Can I? Oh, okay. So I reset a particular view is what this is doing. This resets a set of views. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this resets the views, values of an entire view. Since we have no way to delete a gorge, we have to reset the whole thing and start from scratch. Right. So I pass in a name, a set of names. It goes through and matches the names that I've provided and tells you to unregister it and then re-register it again. Okay, cool. And fleet replica stats is some kind of view on fleet replica count stats, which is this, which is a stats in 64. these just like gauges? Or are these... Because that's a total. What? Total number of game servers. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's not over time. None of these are over time. I think these are all this is fun. I probably should actually pay attention to what these things are. But this is an int64, for example. It's a measurement. Psh, why do they call it a measure? But okay, fine. I gotta remember how this thing works. This is open census. Everything here looks to be basically a gauge. Gauge. I think that's the way you pronounce it. If it's not, tell me. So Prometheus gauge. So like basically a value that can go up and down. Okay. And controller metrics. Tab. Can I do changes? Here you go. No, that didn't help me. Commit. Nope. Changes. Here we go. Controller metrics under package metrics. Okay. I'm vaguely remembering how this works again. Okay, so under the metrics thing, there is a controller that manages basically all the metrics for Agones and looks at what's going on. Okay. And so the change that I made, which I'm probably going to change anyway, is that within this controller, resynchronize metrics based on notification, that's fine, whatever. Do I look at events? Fleet informer, update. All right, record fleet deletion. What does that do? So record a fleet deletion is we dump everything down to 0. Interesting. That's a choice. And then I wait 15 minutes. Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, I see what the problem is. Okay. So the theory was, I'll just go back through this for a sec. So the original idea was, if say a fleet gets deleted, we punt everything down to 0. So like all the totals for it are 0. It's a gauge. We can move these up and down as we want. And then we were like, hey, this, we're gonna do this thing every 15 minutes, unless it stops for some reason. And we basically say resync fleets. We resync fleets, which is interesting. Okay, that's a choice. And whenever a fleet is, we were like, reset the views on the fleet replica count name. We could actually reset the views, and then we get this back, basically. The problem here was with the waiting of the 15 minutes is if you have different, like if you delete one fleet and then delete another, you're resetting the entire view anyway, so there's really no point in waiting. Right? This waiting of 15 minutes, like it doesn't make any sense. There's no point in doing it. Okay. So the argument was, hey, just reset it. Just reset it. Take all the fleet stuff and just reset it. Okay, so bear with me one sec. I want to look at what's actually happening here. So record fleet changes. What does that do? Record fleet changes. Fleet deletion. Okay, fine, whatever. Record fleet replicas, and then we go back through and we do that. Okay, so like if a fleet gets updated, we basically just run through and we record everything with it. Replica count stats, fleet replica count stats. Okay. Now, here is an interesting problem, which, all right, so, all right, I see a few things that I want to check, and controller metrics, controller test, exporter, I don't think I care about. Game server account might be an issue. We'll come back to that in a minute. Yeah, I think game servers, it's a whole other thing. One problem at a time. Okay. We'll have your controller metrics, game server account. I'm sure game server account have fleets in them. Here we go. What has a key fleet name? Fleet autoscaler buffer size. Key fleet name is fleet name. Oops. Interesting. Where's that? Oh, that's here. Util logo. Interesting. Let's tag key, record with tags. All right, some other fun stuff. I didn't write this, so I'm still digging into exactly what's going on in here, which is kind of fun. Fleet autoscaler current replicas, fleet autoscaler desired replicas. There's the fleet names in it. Key namespace. Namespace is an interesting one too, because in theory, if you delete a namespace, then you probably should also clean up stuff. Though namespace probably less, right? It's less. You're not doing that nearly as often necessarily, but it is probably something you care about. Node count, GS per nodes, you're fine. That's an aggregate distribution. Game server state duration is also got a key fleet. Okay, so register views has all of this goodness. We have a reset views, which is not locked in any way, shape, or form. That's basically what I'm saying here. Yeah, state views. Where are we here? So if I look in my controller, how do I access what's going on? So recreate fleet autoscaler deletion. That's all a thing. We move everything down. Cool, good for you. Stats. Right. Who is touching state views? Basically I'm like, this seems it seems scary, for lack of a better term. Registering your sport if these views are registered views you expect to collect from the duration. I'm just trying to work if how much like data registration do I need to maintain at this point? Do I need to mutex all of this stuff? Okay, so accessing this here, this seems fine. The only issue I see then is probably state views. So how does this get exported then? Register stack driver. Where does that data come from? So we get stat views, you build up all this stuff, and then what happens? View.register. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this gets registered with the view here, which is like a global thing inside of consensus stats. Okay. So registering views and resetting views. like all this stuff seems like that should be locked down. I have it in controller where here this like it has this mutex to it, but like I don't think it needs to be part of this mutex maybe. Fleet replica count name is used in the view, right? But the data comes from the count stats, which is weird, and I don't know how that happens, but okay. Right, so if I reset the view, I don't need to do anything to this, I think. Stats 764, register measure handle. What does that actually do? Like, okay, and there's a bunch of locking already in here. Right, that sort of handle that seems to be okay for this stuff. So that seems to be fine. What does actually unregistering review do? So names, yada yada, unregistering review. Right, so it might like just disappear for a bit and then just come back again. So I think actually this handles it for you and you don't actually need to care. This controller is doing this locking here. Collect. Yeah, we don't want to collect at the same time. That seems very reasonable. And we probably don't want to resync while collecting. That also seems reasonable. So we should keep those separate. I think that's fine, but I don't think we need an extra lock anywhere else. Am I reading code or writing? I am reading a bunch of code so that I can write some code at some point and work out what it is that I'm doing. Thank you for that question, though. Because I am not entirely sure what it is that I'm trying to remember how this stuff works so that I can get to what I need to do. Okay. So this seems good. All right, so this is my thought. All right, so I'm just gonna write some notes. All right. Gonna put that up here because that's it. If feature enabled, then reset all fleet views. 62, if feature not enabled, keep current logic. And we need to remove 15-minute timeout. Cool, I like that. All right, that seems very reasonable. All right, we're getting somewhere. This is all good. I'm just writing out the thoughts of what it is that I need to do, and then I can go back around and do it. This is how I like to work on stuff. All right. See how we go. All right, so that seems pretty reasonable. All right. Resync fleet. I don't think this actually. I don't want it to have its own mutex. I actually think this is fine. To expand this to include all views that are affected by fleet deletion. All right. Now inside controller metrics, there are probably some other things that we should take care of while we're here. Particularly namespace, I think. We'll need a delete reset namespace views. on namespace delete. That's an important one. What else is there in here? Key namespace, key namespace, key namespace. This one, count of game servers per node and cluster. That's fine, I think. GS per node counter stats. Just have a quick look at that. How does that get used? It does have a node name in it. Remove system nodes. Oh, interesting. GSM measure. M's for measure. Right, it does have per nodes in it. So that might also need to be reset on node delete. All right. We're gonna have to have a thing for this, but that's all right. One problem at a time. Where's my to-dos that I had? Poop, just give me the updates, the ones. Thank you. Namespace delete. We'll also need a reset bam on node delete. That's fair. What are the metrics we got that I need to look at? Gives our state duration, takes key fleet name and key. Okay, I actually thought fleet autoscaler took the autoscaler name, but it doesn't. Everything's just tied to fleet. Okay, so that's actually not too bad. All right, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Yeah, we definitely need some tests for like all of this stuff. All right, sweet. So I have a follow-up question. If you don't understand a code base or project, so how to and where to start understanding reading. So I wrote a lot of this, so I have a pretty good idea. I have looked at this before, and I have a particular task that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to manage some metrics. But if you do have a follow-up question, and I'm going to mispronounce this, Akil Sahu, I think is pretty accurate, feel free to ask it. Please drop it in chat. I would love to answer your questions. I'm also terrible at looking at chat sometimes because it sits off to my side. But yes, no, please, if you have questions, please feel free to drop. So this is all open census stuff, which I'm vaguely familiar with. And so it's going to be interesting. I also, to inside end to end, do we have any metrics tests? We do not. Should we have metrics tests? I'm actually not sure how we would do that. That's another interesting problem. So, one problem at a time. Okay. That's all there. We need tests for everything. Called autoscaler deletion. So we're on an autoscaler deletion. What do they usually do there? That is a good question, actually. Fleet autoscaler. Tag new context. Tag key name. Faz.name. Right? Like, I feel like there was a thing here. Key fleet name. Key name here. What uses a key name? What is that? Just a name. Oh, bloody hell. Okay. So we've also, this was maybe a little silly. Key name does seem a little weird. To actually have the name on there, that was probably not a good idea, actually, with metrics. There's this idea called cardinality explosion, which Prometheus doesn't handle very well. Which says it'll go through, so that's fleet autoscalers, that's fleets. Interesting that fleets have both the key name, key type. What is a key type? Oh, interesting. That seems not good. for lack of a better phrase. So fleet autoscaler change name. Key name is that. Did you use key type? Oh, interesting. Okay, so the key type is weird, but okay. Okay, key type's fine. I thought key type was going to be like fleet autoscaler or something. But yes, key name. All right, so that's anything that tracks fleets is going to need to get rid of that. All right, so that's both key. Let's just make. I just want to add that to my stuff. Namespace delete. All right, so game server include all views are affected by fleet deletion. And then we have a record fleet deletion. There's a couple of deletions. Fleet autoscaler deletion. Here we go. So here, to reset all views that are affected by FAS deletion, which fleet autoscalers. That seems, yeah, that's a good point there too. All right. Cool. That was worth doing because upstart key name, the fas.name is a thing, and if you keep adding and removing them, then that's bad. I'm gonna assume we don't do that for like individual game servers. Game server status change. Key type by status change, good. We have the fleet name, that's fine. I will live with that. Namespace is namespace. Okay, it's not per game server name. Good, because that would be vaguely terrifying. That is literally terrifying. I think we maybe got rid of that too. All right. Okay, so that seems like a good set of. I like to set my to-dos of like what it is we need to do. So commit. We'll say initial set of to-do are done. If someone hasn't coded with me before, I use Tixu TOXO as a differentiator from the to-dos that usually filter around in a bunch of in a code base, so that I know the things that I need to go and do before I end up committing my code and submitting it for PR. I could come up with a different format, but this is just something I came up with, and it seems to work. So that's good. Yeah, that'll do for now. I'm going to push that up just so that I have that somewhere and we have that backed up and I don't have to worry about it too much. Okay. Okay. I will take a short break though. I do need to review the pull request for today's release. So let me do that while I am thinking about it. I thought that was a PR. It is now gone. All right. Nope. I thought that was a PR. I lied. All right. How are we doing for time? It's 4 o'clock. All right, cool. Just having a quick look. That's the one that was closed. Just making sure I'm good. Yeah. Right. Just taking sure. Maybe take some liberties, because unfortunately, work stuff. Got it. Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful. Done. All right. Let's see what we can do now. Okay, so that looks good. So first step, actually, I know what I need to do is we need a feature flag. That'll get us started. We use feature flags inside Agones for all kinds of fun stuff, so that we can put features behind them. And runtime is where it is. Features. Here we go. So what do we want to call this? Feature reset metrics on delete. That works. Reset metrics on delete. I can't think of anything better. I think that's fine. Feature reset metrics on delete is a feature flag that tells the metrics service to unregister and register. That's what I'm looking for. Register and unregister relevant metric views to reset their state immediately when a metric with their when a Agones resource is deleted. Must be n. So write some docs for this. And somebody wants my attention. Of course they do. Cool. All right. Oh, and I can't spell. So that gives me reset metrics on delete. Oh, I need to give it a value. Sorry, people ask me the question. All right, so I need to give this a feature. Reset metrics on delete. It's false by default. It is turned off. Just trying to remember again. Do I need to add anything here? No. All right, cool. Oof, lots of features. Trying to get rid of some at some point. We're getting there. We are getting there. All right. All right. Reset metrics on delete. Beautiful. What do we want to start with? Let's go with, we do need tests for everything. That's fine. Reset all views are affected by a fuzz deletion. Need tests for this, yes. I was going to start with fleets. I think fleets is actually a nice place to start. Is the font really small, really? Oh, I bumped it up, actually. I tried to make it big. If it's too small, yeah, definitely. Is it unreadable? It looked okay on my screen, but I might be looking at it in a different place. Definitely let me know. We can go bigger. We have the capability. I go to like 16. Is that better? Is that better? On mobile, it looks small. Yeah, I don't know. Is that better? I moved it up to 16. Is that nicer? Yeah, it's a full IDE. I don't know what I can do about mobile. I might actually put it down again. I can't really read that. If you've got a small phone, I don't know how I can help with it. I don't know. I can't read. It's like I can't fit a section of code in my thing. Um, no, I don't know if I can do it. Yeah, otherwise I can't see what's going on. Nothing fits. It all gets tiny. Um, okay, so I'm gonna start with fleet deletions. Let's have a look. So let's start with if runtime dot feature enabled, and the feature is runtime dot feature reset metrics on delete. Else boom. So that goes there. All right, so that's an easy one. All right, so that was an easy one. All right, so if the feature is enabled, let's do the resync now. Is there an interesting question here? Okay, so one thing that is this is going to be interesting. Okay, so resync fleets could return an error. So we have a look at this. Let's have a look and see what's possible there. So we lock stuff. Makes sense to me. That's fine. Fleet lister could fail. Do we care? The reason I asked, do we care? Because everything will get cleaned up the next time a fleet gets deleted. Which I think is fine. What does resync fleet do? That's a good question. So resync fleet here, it does two things. One, grabs a list of all the fleets that currently exist within the system. It does grab it from what's called a fleet lister that does have an internal cache of what's happening inside the system, so it may be slightly out of date, which I think is fine. It then resets all the views for a fleet, which we'll come back and expand upon that later. So all the views are all the metrics where they go, and then we go back around all the fleets and we re-record everything. So basically, we just blow away the entire state of all the metrics. That will get rid of any metrics for any of the fleets that currently exist, and then we just put them right back again. And it's basically the easiest and best way of setting up metrics again. I think the answer I have on this is if the only error that could happen is if we're like, hey, fleet lister, can I have a fleet, please? And it fails for some reason. Which one seems unlikely because it's an internal cache. Two, if it does happen, it should be intermittent, like because the Kubernetes control plane is down, in which case the next time a fleet deletion event comes through, it's going to reset everything anyway. So it comes back to a happy state. So I think it's fine. I actually think it's fine. So what I'm going to do in this case, let me blow that up here, is just warn on it. I think actually, more than anything else, I'm just going to steal that. Resync fleets now with error. I'm just going to say warn. But I'm gonna could not resync fleet metrics. I'm gonna put a note on it though. If for some reason resync fails, the entire state, metric state for fleets, will be reset whenever the next fleet gets deleted. In which case we end up back in a healthy state. So I don't think, so we aren't going to actively retry, which is the other option, right? Like we could have it set up, which is kind of what I have below, which is like if something fails, then like come back around and try again in a little while. But I don't think it matters. So all of this goes away. And then all this actually cleans up. And this just becomes way cleaner. So I think that's actually quite simple. The thing that I do need to do is go back into resync fleets. All right, let's get rid of that. Boom. That goes away. Go back into resync fleets and make sure that all the metrics that I have that care about fleets are actually deleted. So let's split my screen, which, you know, because whatchamacallit, because I had to shrink my text down a little bit, but again, I can actually do, and we can look at all of the things. Oh, this is fun. Okay, actually, before we do that, well, actually, we will do that, but I have created some consts here. So I created the fleet replica name const so that I could reference it from another place. So I'm going to do the same thing here. To resync fleet, restore collection of fleets and what fleets do. So resync, restore. So resync fleet, all it does is we're resyncing the state of the metrics that we're storing that end up going out to Prometheus. It's not actually touching what fleets do inside Agones. It's got nothing to do with that. It's purely about working on what the metrics are. That is all it is. And I've just noticed that. I'm just worried. Oh no, it says that I'm live. It's just that my recording is being funny. Okay, well, good for you. Oh yeah, we can actually drop this down. I actually don't care about the quality of my own thing that I'm looking at. All right, cool. Yeah, so it's purely metrics. So you know what? Everything here is gonna need to be reset in some way, shape, or form at some point. So I need to move everything into a const. So let's do that. This is fleet autoscaler buffer limits. Oh, fun. All right, so let's introduce constant. Can it before constant? Of course you can't. I assume that's not used anywhere. Let's just let's mask startup go. That's what I care about. Ooh, we have some fun assertions. We actually have some controller tests. Okay, that's actually really cool. We definitely will want to go into that. But okay. Actually, let's look here as well. See, that should not be. Okay, that's fine. Const. Controller test stuff. Assert metric. Oh, this is gonna be boring. All right. All right. So let's. I actually just want to see also real quick. Just make sure I didn't bust anything out. There's no linting stuff that I've broken in any way, shape, or form. Just gonna have a quick look. Also, I haven't busted any tests that I need to care about too, as I go through so far. I don't think I have. I think it's gonna be okay. But good to check. This is running linting on the entire code base, so it does tend to use up some CPU cycles. Anything? When was the last time I ran this? Oh, hello. Oh, it found a misspelling. Oh, good on you. Good on you. Okay, but that's really it. All right, beautiful. That's fine. All right, so that's good. Controller, if I look in here, we only have the one test thing, so we can actually just run that too. Just want to see if I broke anything. I don't think so, but it never hurts. Just before I start really futzing with stuff. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay. All right. This is going to be boring. If I const this, and I don't know what I want to call it yet. Fleet autoscaler buffer limit name. There we go. That's not particularly fancy, but it will do the job. Also, yeah, no, that's not a big deal. I don't need to do that. IntelliJ is getting very fancy these days. So fleet, I want to do a big change of that into that. Open and find window, please. That one, yes. That one, yes. That one, yes. Replace all, please. Yep. Blam. Done. Beautiful. Making this basically so it's all referenceable. Ooh. This is going to be very boring. Should I make shell for me with you? Is it going to turn that into... No, it's not. Well, that's just annoying, isn't it? There we go. Oh, that was silly. It should be that. There we go. Oh, it replaced itself, and that's not what we need. Autoscaler's fine. Don't complain. All right, move down the way. Really, you can't turn that into a constant. Unacceptable. Well, actually, what I'll do then instead is actually this. Just gonna make my life a lot easier. Call it fleet autoscaler buffer size name. We'll have a quick look for that. This one here. Beautiful. Next one. Fleet autoscaler current replica count name. Bam. Not that one, but this one. Definitely flip that out. And that one as well. Flip that out. Beautiful. All the way to the bottom of the jar, which is an Australian saying that I don't necessarily know if anyone else is actually going to understand. But thank you very much for keeping me company while we're doing this. This is not very entertaining. If you have any questions about what I'm working on, my development process, the IDE I'm using, really anything at all, that might make this more entertaining. Fleet autoscalers, desired replica count. Took Smackdown. I see. Got it. Beautiful. All right. Flip script desired replica count name. I want to be consistent. Nope, not what I wanted to do. It was that one. Boom. Find what it plays. Bam. Fleet autoscaler desired replica count name. That's right. That's correct. And here, that is also correct. Fleet auto. Oh, that was silly. Fleet autoscaler able to scale. Fleet autoscalers able to scale. Name equals blam. Okay. Boom. Put that one there. Oops, no, wrong one. Able to scale name. There we go. Only a few more left to go. Wheesh! Riveting streaming television. Oh, what time is it here? 4:30. All right, we got a little while to go. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Everything's great. Okay, Fleet Autoscalers Limited. All right, Fleet Autoscalers Limited equals. Bam. I wonder if I can just do these in like one go. Actually, let's do that. This might be faster. Game servers count name equals blam. Actually, this should be name. Game servers total. Yeah, that'll need to go away at some point. Total name equals blam. Node count name. Oops. Blam. Game servers node count. Game servers node count. Oops, I need to put the name on it. Beautiful. Game server state duration. Bam. Game server state duration. Boof. Okay. The nice thing is that IntelliJ also will, well, IntelliJ IDEA or GoLand or whatever you're calling yourselves these days, the plugin, the Go plugin for IDEA things will make it gray, so that we know that it's no longer being used. So you can do this name and this, and I can say actually we can just do an H. Fleet Autoscalers Limited. We are going to want to call out Fleet Autoscalers Limited name. Let's do that in here. This one we will ignore. This one we will definitely do. That is interesting, and that is fine. Okay, so we can replace all the rest. 1, 2, 3. No, I don't want all. I want everything except for that one. Replace that one, replace that one, replace that one. All right, beautiful. Come back to controller metrics, pop back up to the top, and we do it again. Game servers count should be. Bah. I did not do that well. All right. Bah. Come here. Thank you. Game server count name. Open and find window. It's that one. We don't want that one. Oopsies. We don't want that one. We do want that one. We do want that one. And we do want that one. Fantastic. Oh, boy. Moving along through. Game servers total. This is what I'd like to finish for today. This would be good. So game servers total. Game servers total name. Okay. Let's have a look. It's just this one, which we're like, nope. I keep doing that. Refresh it. Thank you. Delete that. Replace that one. Replace that one. Let's see if we break anything. That's a good question. All right. Node count. Nope. Nope. Mess that up. Node count name. Yeah, open that in Find window. Node count name is that one. Place that one. Ooh. Interesting. In a test. I think that's fine. Excellent. Game server node counts. Game server node count name. That one's fine. That one needs to be replaced. That needs to be replaced. That needs to be replaced. Alrighty. Whoosh. Alright. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. What are you complaining about, though? Redundant type. Ooh. That's fun. Alright, we'll clean that up in a minute, too. State duration. Oh, that's really it. That's the only one. Yeah. Game server, state duration. Yeah, beautiful. You are all complaining because this is actually redundant. We don't need to specify the view here. So we can actually delete redundant type. Clean up code. Beautiful. All right, anything in imports I need to pay attention to, just having a quick look. All right, so that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Let's see if linting and the test passed. It should be a bit faster this time because we just ran it. Oh. We are heading in the right direction, though. What do you think about GitHub code space to build project environments in one click? And does Agones have this? That's a good question. I haven't actually played with GitHub code spaces. In theory, it should be very cool. Well, I haven't done any of this for Agones. I don't use Visual Studio Code, so there's that. There's really no reason you couldn't do this. Interestingly, so you can have a dev container for that. Oh, that's cool. We already have a dev container as part of like what we do, as part of all the tooling that you saw me run. So yeah, no reason why not. If somebody's super interested in it, that's an interesting question. It's a cool question. I like it. Yeah, not seeing any issues with that there whatsoever. Let's run the controller tests. Make sure everything still works as expected. Beautiful. Everything works as expected. Okay. Let's get out the share. That's fine. Commit. Added consts for all the view names. This is just work in progress stuff, so I'm not worrying about it too much. This can go away. We don't need you. Okay. Having a code spaces set up would be cool. I mean, it's a paid for product, so we have no reason to necessarily push people one way or another, put it that way. But we actually try and build our whole development tool chain so that basically you should be able to do pretty much, not everything, most things, a lot of things with just Make and Docker. With what we do, it's a Kubernetes project, so you need to have a Kubernetes cluster somewhere. That's just a thing. Okay. Why are you not indexed? That's an interesting question. There we go. Now we're indexed. I think I broke it. Current file. I want all files, please. Project, please. Why? That's weird. I did something. I broke it somehow. That's really funny. Okay, so there we go. We're back. We're good. Okay. Reset all views that are affected by. All right, we're not doing that one yet. We're going to do the fleet one first. Your exponential views of fleet deletion. Okay, so. GitHub Codespace is interesting. If you're depending on what it is you want to do too, like you can. I've done stuff where I've set up like VMs with Xpra, which if anyone's used that, it's like a way to send Linux applications down to either Mac, Windows, or Linux machines. I use that a lot. Actually, I just do my day to day and just set up stuff on that. So if I want to have a remote workspace, I can do that. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it like I don't think it's particularly hard to get remote workspaces, but by the same token, having the convenience of just being like GitHub, give me the thing, like that's pretty sweet. Okay, controller metrics. Give me that on the side. Whoops. I want to see them side by side, please. Okay, so fleet replica count name. Yep, need that. Fleet autoscaler has a fleet in it, so that's definitely a thing. Fleet autoscaler buffer size name has a fleet in it, so that's also a thing. Fleet autoscaler current replica count name has a fleet name in it, so that's a thing. Fleet autoscaler desired replica count name. That is also a thing. That's got a key fleet name in it. There's a bunch of views we're going to need to get rid of. Fleet autoscaler limited name has a fleet in it, so that needs to be a thing. Game server count name, that has the fleet in it too, so that needs to be reset. Game server total, like basically everything. It's basically all of them. It's going to be all of them, except for all of them. Node count name, I think, is special. Node count name. Let's have a look at that. Node count stats. Node count stats. Actually, I think is probably one of the few that doesn't have a label in it. So per node count stats does, which is this one. But that's used primarily. Where are we? With the node name in it, so we don't actually care about that one. All right, cool. And then game server state duration name. That's also definitely. Where was it? Resync fleets. Okay, so that should be everything. So that should be all the resync fleets ones. Yeah, let's just do a resync for everything, actually, while we're here. This is going to be fun. And the reason I say this is going to be fun is that if I delete a namespace, this is gonna be fun. There's all like namespace effects, record fleet changes, record auto scaling changes, and record game server status change. What do you get? Actually, I already have this problem, right? Okay. So this is fun. Because what did I get rid of in resync? Let's have a look here for a sec. Oh, resync fleets, like all the fleet order scaler stuff. Yes. So what do we have for recording? What do we do when a fleet order scaler changes? Oh wow, this is actually really kind of terrifying. Record fleet order scaler changes. Old does not equal nil. Okay, so we're not going to have an old one. So what I'll need to do, racing fleets, is also grab. This is fun. So when I'm looking at this is fun. Right. Oh. I just realized something, which is super annoying, but I think we don't have a choice, which is we're going to have to be a bit more sophisticated with our mutex locks. Because otherwise it's just going to be weird. So what we're one other idea. Just looking at someone in chat. Yeah, I can see that you really like it as a thing. This is an open source project. PRs are accepted. As everything. What I need to do is here. State lock. What does that get used for? Calc duration. Calculation between state changes. Interesting. All right, that's a whole other thing. Calc duration. What does that get used for? What I need is a read-write lock, I think, for this. And wait. We have too many mutexes floating around, and this is going to get messy. So like I reused this lock here because it was a proof of concept. Collect. All right, this is made sure the collect game server counts. Just got to record. Right, like game server count is there, which is a thing. Okay, interesting. Oh, which is the map. Okay. Collect node counts, drops it into a map. Okay. Very different thing. Okay, so let's do this. We rename this to the collect lock. Then we're also going to have a view lock. Lock? Mutex? Whatever. Sync.readWrite mutex. Yeah, I think that's what needs to happen. Just trying to think. I think this is fine. So for any sync operation or resync fleets, this should be a read lock. A view lock should be read locks. But anyone who's like collecting or using, who's doing recordings, then it has to actually make sure that, or it doesn't matter. Hold on, wait. Maybe I'm being crazy here. My brain hurts. Okay, so we have a if I'm doing this, I need to make sure that no one else is doing it. So I actually think having a lock that is specific to views is good. Okay, because the collect is a completely different thing, and I'm not going to worry about it. Right? Everything that is doing stuff against a view, this doesn't matter. What is C? Game server count. It's just a thing. Yep. All right. Actually, I don't know if maybe this shouldn't be a rewrite lock. View lock. Yeah. We get all fleets. We will need Faz. Fleet. Oh, I don't have the autoscaler. I need the autoscaler. I will definitely need an autoscaler. Fleet lister, Faz synced, Faz lister is a lister v1 dot fleet auto. Oh, you know what? It's a different one. Fleet auto scalar lister. Auto scalar v1. Oh, that's not useful. Auto scaling lister v1. That'll do. Fleets. Faz Faz lister should be, oops. There we go. Oh my gosh. I guess my thought here is if record fleet autoscaler changes, right? For argument's sake. Fleet autoscaler deletion, tag.upsert. Stats.record, but it's all starting against this stuff here, which I think is fine. I think it's fine. Okay. I think it'll be fine. Either way, it'll return to a healthy state pretty fast, so I think it's not really an issue. I was trying to think about it. Okay, so I'm quite happy to have this lock, but I don't know if the read-write lock needs to be a read-write lock. Can probably just be fine. But we'll keep on resync fleets. And then fazlist error equals c dot fazlister dot list labels dot everything. Basic plates. For underscore f faz in range fazlist c dot record. Order scale changes nil faz. Because if I look at my R events, where are events? Faz informer, add event. Yeah, see fleet order scale changes nils. It's gonna be like basically like it was added. Also, if you're deleting a fleet, the fleet autoscaler is less relevant anyway. So, not too fast. You're probably deleting the fleet autoscaler at the same time anyway. Cool. And I'm going to sneeze again, because that's what I do apparently. Bear with me. Okay, all done. Cool. There was one other thing that we did. We are doing our resync fleets. Fleet autoscaler stuff. I might draw this to the next slide. It's just a little bit wide. There we go. Game server state duration name and game server, all these game server stuff. All right, so game server count name gets used here. Game server count stats. Who creates you? Let's have a look. Measure, tag, upsert, record. Interesting. And where does that get called? Collect game server counts. Oh, that makes life easy. That's part of collect. Oh, interesting. So game server node counts. Okay. Oh, this is actually quite interesting. You do record. Okay. So we actually do want to share the lock. We want to share the lock. So we're going to rename that back to lock. And we're going to delete it. And then we're going to rename that back to lock. And we're going to delete it. And we should actually resync fleets. Now, yeah, because it does record. In which case, I think, no, we don't need to do node counts at this point. All right, cool. This does need tests. But I think that's complicated and nasty. But yeah, I don't think there's a better way of doing it. Yeah. All the views associated with the fleet and recalculates all totals. Yeah, I don't have a better way of doing that. I think it's the short answer. Wow. The only thought I have is if one thing that's kind of freaking me out is like, say a fleet comes in at the same time as I'm resetting everything. That's probably bad, right? Or is it? Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter if I'm I genuinely don't know. It should be fine. I think it should be fine. It's so messy. So messy. I'm almost of the mindset, like, just reset all the views every 24 hours. Something stupid like that. Just something really dumb. But you know what? I think, no. You know what actually makes me think it's going to be fine? The reason I think it's going to be fine is that if you reset like the entire controller, eventually it ends up in the appropriate state, basically, right? Like, data comes in, things happen, and it's fine. So I think this is okay. I think. Uh, the other option I could do is have some kind of read-write lock. The only thing I can think of, collect, maybe you'd want to keep a read lock. Maybe? Probably not. I think, yeah, that's a... Collect apparently only wants to run on its own. Only wants to run once. It might need its own lock, or you could also take a read of it. Anything you want to have happen on its own. Sorry, a write lock. Read lock is fine for pretty much all operations anyway, because nothing's changing at that point. Yeah, I could do that. I could turn the lock into a read write lock, and just do that. And I think it might give me some peace of mind. We might need to just try it. Yeah, see, I've asked whether it should be read write, and I don't. I think it's just. I think we're gonna have to try it. I think we're gonna have to try it and see what happens. I'm actually genuinely unsure. Yeah, genuinely unsure. But that at least gets us part of the way there. Cool. It's 5 p.m. here, so it's actually the end of my workday. I am going to call it there, actually, I think. But thank you very much for hanging out with me and stuff. I really appreciate it. If you want to follow me, my details are below on all the social medias and stuff. Hopefully you found this vaguely interesting. It was me just running through a bunch of code. I just found a weird thing in here. But yeah, I really appreciate you kind of hanging out with me and doing all the stuff. And yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I stream very occasionally. I'll check this up on YouTube at some point too and put it there so you can see the details of that below. But yeah, if nothing else, thank you very much for hanging out and helping me work through this problem, which was weird and tricky, and I'm still not sure if I got it right, but we'll find out eventually. And yeah, that's really about it. Otherwise, thank you very much. Oh, it's 5 a.m. for one of our watchers right now. Oh my gosh. Good on you for being up so late. All right, I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.